Welcome, everyone. Good morning to those who are gathered here in the sanctuary and to all of you who are joining us online today. We're going to begin our service this morning with a musical prelude by Scott DeVoe. Welcome, friends, to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Charlottesville. My name is Reverend Tim Temerson. My pronouns are he and him, and I'm very pleased to be leading worship this morning with my colleague, Reverend Leah Derlin-Jones, and music director, Scott DeVoe. Whoever you are and wherever you have come from, the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Charlottesville welcomes you. We are delighted that you have joined us this morning and are grateful for all who have made this moment of our gathering possible. I invite us now to take a moment to greet others. Those online may unmute, and those here in the sanctuary or social hall are welcome to greet your neighbors, especially someone you may not know. We are delighted that you have joined us this morning, and we offer a special welcome to newcomers. Invite you to join us after the service in the social hall and to sit at the newcomers table. I'm not sure if there will be one today. There's a lot going on in the social hall. And of course, you're invited, as always, to use one of our red coffee mugs. And UUCville members and friends are reminded to offer everyone, including anyone with a red mug, that's for you, Ann Salamini, with a red mug, offer them a warm welcome to our congregation. There is a live stream of the service in the social hall. Everyone, of course, is welcome in here, but those needing a roomier space, the social hall can be a good option. Those on Zoom are invited to remain online for conversation following the service. Many thanks to all the people who make Sunday morning services possible: greeters, ushers, hospitality, and altar decorating teams, our wonderful religious education leaders and volunteers, and AV Tech Nash Ford. And now we have greetings from UUCville board member Tammy Wilt.
Good morning. How is everybody today? So I wanted to take a minute or two and just a friendly reminder that there are lots of things going on with meeting our long-term plans. So if you are interested in helping the church achieve those directives, please reach out to volunteer at UUCville. There are lots of committees, and it's not a huge time commitment at all, so don't let that scare you, but I am sure there is probably something for everybody and any interest you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Tammy. I was going to say a few morning announcements. It's a few more than that. So for beginning off with, our holiday crafters are once again selling their wares today in the social hall. Also, the Palestine-Israel Action Group is selling, we got a reorder of fair trade olive oil in. So the crafts and the olive oil, needless to say, make fantastic holiday gifts. So stop by the tables. Are you new to the UU Congregation of Charlottesville? Please join me and several lay leaders for our monthly newcomer circle at 12:15 in the parlor. Feel free to get your coffee, do a little shopping, and then join us in the parlor at 12:15. Next Sunday, our UUCville Young Adult Group will be meeting at 12:30 in Lower Hall 3. So please do join us. There'll be food and fun and conversation and games, so please join us. If you're anywhere around the age of 18 to 35, it's a pretty broad range. Also, the Women's Spirit Yule, Friday, December 19th, 9:30 to 8:30 in Lower Hall 2 and on the Outdoor Labyrinth. We'll gather to celebrate Yule, the rebirth of the sun. Please join us. All women are invited. If you're not currently on the mailing list, please contact Bonnie and Lauren at womenspirit@uucharlottesville.org so you can receive updates and further information. Next Sunday, our service is a celebration of the winter solstice, also a food sharing Sunday. Those who are able are invited to bring perishable and non-perishable foods as well as cleaning supplies and place them in the sanctuary on the chancel for the 11 a.m. service. Anyone who would like is invited to stay after the service and take items home. I will also have grocery gift cards available. Please see me if you would like one. Next Sunday is our winter solstice lantern walk from 4:30 to 6 around the pond behind the Hilton Garden Hotel in Pantops. Bring your battery lanterns, candles, lights, or other luminaria. Those who are able will process together around the pond to shine and share our lights. Extra lanterns will be available as well as hot cider around the fire. Bring snacks to share. This event is for all members and friends of our congregation, both young and old. Less young? Bring your family and friends. Park in the lot at 675 Peter Jefferson Parkway. Our congregation will hold 2 Christmas Eve services on December the 24th at 4:30 and 7. Our 4:30 service is an interactive nativity with Reverend Leah. The 7 o'clock candlelight Christmas Eve service, which I lead. Both services are for all ages. Donations of new mittens, gloves, socks, and hats will be received for those in need. On New Year's Day, UUCville will be holding a retreat Thursday, January the 1st from 1 to 4. Start the new year with contemplation, reflection, exploration, and community. Our smaller indoor labyrinth will be available for walking in Lower Hall 2. There'll be opportunities for meditation, expressive art, journaling, yoga, movement. Ages are welcome. Volunteers are needed to help us host guests from the overnight shelter of Pacham right here at UUCville from December the 30th through January the 12th. We are receiving help with some dinners from other local faith communities, but we need help setting up Summit House, providing and serving food, and cleanup. Find the Sign Up Genius link in the Friday newsletter or contact Elizabeth Breeden at art@uucharlottesville.org. And of course, as always, please join us for coffee and conversation and popcorn in the social hall after the service.
Our call to worship this morning is by Sherry Woodbury and entitled Open to Awe. Perhaps some here have outgrown mystery. Maybe you have doubts about Santa or have forgotten the magic of a newborn child.
One might easily lose touch with awe in the struggle to do it all or simply to survive.
Hear now this invitation to open yourself to surprise today and be ready to greet unexpected delights.
What star shall shine on you? What child remind you that all can be touched by glory?
What gifts can you give? How will you join the holy story? Come,
let us worship together.
I invite you now to rise in body or spirit and join in our opening hymn. It is When Our Heart is in a Holy Place. It's number 1008 in the Teal hymnal, and the words will also be projected.
I would now like to invite Zoe and Jason Halbert to come forward to light our flaming chalice. And as Zoe and Jason light our chalice, will you please join in saying our chalice lighting words? We gather this hour as people of faith with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning in celebration of the life we share together. And now let's do our hand motions and the words that go with them. Put your hand out like this. We light this chalice to celebrate Unitarian Universalism. This is a church of open minds. This is a church of helping hands. This is a church of loving hearts.
Well, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So glad you all are here today. I'd like to invite all of our young people to come forward right now to have a seat here on our red rug, and also anyone who is young at heart or wants to get a closer look to the things that we're going to be sharing and showing, because I'm also going to invite Ellie Severud to come forward and tell us a little bit about how she celebrates this season. So don't be shy. Come on down.
Come on down.
You're not getting back up after this?
Never, no. You might have to help me, so.
There's a little side conversation going on over here with young people inviting to help Reverend Tim get up at the end.
Yeah, good luck getting up.
You're
I'm
gonna-
not getting up ever again.
I'm never
Come on
getting
down
up.
and let's have the
Yeah.
friends who are sitting here scoot forward, because we've got other friends who are coming. Let's
Yeah.
make room.
Reverend Leah Neal said I may never get up again. So,
I'll help you. I'll help you. I gotcha. All right. So everybody, those who don't know, this is Ellie Severud. And
Hi, Ellie.
Ellie graciously offered to share a little bit about her Jewish ethnicity and heritage and traditions in her home this time of year. So Ellie, let me get you a microphone so that everybody can hear you. There you go.
Hello? We're on. This time of year, Jewish people celebrate Hanukkah. And it's usually around Christmas, but not always the same exact time because the Jewish calendar is a little bit different. So the story of Hanukkah is something that happened a long, long time ago, probably in the Middle East. And the Jewish people were living in an area that was had a Greek king. And the Greek king didn't like the Jewish people practicing their religion. He had a different religion, and he didn't like theirs, and he didn't want them to practice the way they wanted to. So he forbade them to practice their religion. But they did anyway, in secret. So they would sit around the table and study their Jewish Hebrew books, and when the soldiers came around, they would put the books away and take out this dreidel and pretend to be playing a game. So finally, the king sent this huge army to stop them and to destroy the people. And a small group of Jewish people, Jewish men mostly, soldiers, called the Maccabees, fought these soldiers. And the fighting went on for 3 years. And finally, the soldiers gave up and left. So the Jewish people were able to come back to their town, and they went back to their temple, which was their church, and they found it had been destroyed. Just everything had been ruined, and including the oil that they used to light their eternal light. So the Jewish people in their temple had what they call an eternal light that is always on. And in those days, they didn't have electricity, so they used oil to light the lamp. And they only had enough oil to last 1 day, but by some miracle, the oil lasted 7 days, long enough for them to make more oil, so that the light, the eternal light, was always lit. So that is the story of Hanukkah. And I just want to make sure I've got all my details. So the significance or the importance of Hanukkah is the celebration of religious freedom, that everybody has the right to worship the God that they want or not worship God, however they want to worship. Anybody have any questions about that part?
I think Lillian has her hand up.
It is 8 days. You're right. So even though I've grown up Jewish and always celebrated Hanukkah, it wasn't until I was thinking about doing this presentation, I thought, a week is 7 days, but Hanukkah is 8 days. So I was talking to my husband about it, and he said, well, you know, Jewish people have to rest 1 day out of the week, Sabbath, so that would be the 8th day. I don't know if that's true, but good point. Very smart to think of that. Any other questions so far? No? Okay, so celebrating Hanukkah. I'm Jewish, my parents are Jewish, and we always celebrated Hanukkah all the time. I was growing up, and then when I was an adult, I celebrated Hanukkah with my kids, and now my children celebrate it with their children, so we all do it together. So what we do is we light the menorah, and it is for 8 days, and there's one called the Shamas, the helper candle, which is used to light all the others. And it's done from right to left because Hebrew language is written and read right to left. So the first night is 1, second night 2, third night 3, etc. So we light the menorah and we say a blessing, thank God for our religious freedom, and sing some songs. We eat what's called latkes, which are potato pancakes, and we eat those because they're cooked in oil, so it kind of represents the oil that was used in the lamp. And we play a game with this, it's a dreidel. It's a spinning top, and it's got 4 letters, Jewish letters on it, which represent the words, "A great miracle happened there." And the way you play the game is everybody gets coins or something they use, tokens. Everybody puts one in the middle, and you spin the top. And one letter, there's one letter on each side, so one letter is nun. If you get nun, you get none of the coins, right? Second word, the second letter is gimel, which means you get, like gimme, take all the coins that are in the middle. The third one is hay, which means you get half the pile. And the fourth one is shin, which means you don't give or take, so you just kind of pass. So this is a game that we play, and it's often filled with what's called gelt, which is a Jewish word for coins. And when I was growing up, it was chocolate coins. So that was fun. And the best part is you get presents every day. So in some ways, it's better than Christmas. But there's small presents. But and you asked me to mention that. I grew up Jewish, and I've done this with my kids. My husband is not Jewish. He's Christian. So my kids were lucky. They got to celebrate Hanukkah and Christmas. So, and that's what they do now. So that's the story.
Well, thank you so much for sharing with us, Ellie. And it's so nice. Yeah. And it's so nice to hear how you, as a Unitarian Universalist, celebrate this season. So not only do we know more about you, but we know more about other Unitarian Universalists who might celebrate in similar ways. So thank you all for listening so well. We're going to sing a hymn, and as we do that, we're going to invite you to go back to your seats, and I'm going to invite everyone in the congregation to rise in body or spirit for hymn number 221. It is in our gray hymnal, and the words will also be projected. The hymn is Light One Candle, and we sing it in honor of Hanukkah, which starts tonight.
For those who are suffering the pain we learned long, long ago. Light one candle for all we believe in, that anger won't tear us apart. But light one candle to bring us together, for peace is the song in our hearts. Don't let the light go out, it's ended for so many years. Don't let the light go out in the shine through our love and our tears. What is the memory that's valued so highly? We keep it alive in that flame. What's a commitment to those who have died when we cry out they're not died in vain? Have come this far through always believing that justice will somehow prevail. Yeah, this is the burden and this is the power, and this is why we will not fail. Don't let the light go out, it's so many years. Don't let the light go out, let it shine through our love and our tears.
I invite you to join me now in a time of prayer and meditation. Spirit of love, great mystery beyond our knowing, God of many names and no name at all. As we move through these days of holiday preparation and celebration, help us remember to take time to listen within, to our own hearts, and to connect to that which matters most to us. May we honor the many gifts of love that surround and sustain us. Love of others, love of self, love of community, love of this precious earth which is our home, love of life, life its very self in its myriad forms. Spirit of love, help us listen deeply beneath the cacophony surrounding us to what is speaking to and through our hearts. Help us act with wisdom, with compassion, with courage, and with care. May we show up authentically and make time for what nourishes our souls, so that we may show up in the world with a generosity of spirit. As winter arrives, may we recommit to caring for the earth and all her creatures, to extending kindness and friendship and a helping hand where we can. Let us renew our commitment to continue working together to make the world a more justice-filled and loving place for us all. Amen, and blessed be. We are an interconnected community that cares for one another, and part of how we embody this care is by making time each week to share the joys and the sorrows that we hold in our hearts. I will now share the joys and sorrows that were submitted prior to worship this morning. A joy now for all who helped and attended our holiday party yesterday here at church. It was so fun to see the social hall filled with joyful merrymakers. A big thanks to all the volunteers, and especially to our RE assistant, Bryn Malone, who did so much to prepare for the party in advance. The holiday spirit was certainly moving here at UUCville, and you can see by the beautiful decoration here in our sanctuary. Our giving tree was lovingly decorated yesterday, and it was such a lovely time to be together. Due to time constraints today, we will not be sharing our joys and sorrows ritual, but Meg Dunham from our pastoral care team will be available for a few minutes in the back corner of the sanctuary here if you need some support or you just would like someone to listen. You can also contact the pastoral care team online by emailing pastoral@uucharlottesville.org. And now I would like to invite forward John Alexander and Diane Ober, who are going to share a little bit with us about how they celebrate the holiday season.
My husband John and I are sharing our Advent wreath that I made years ago with all of you this morning. Advent wreaths can be all different sizes, and sometimes there is an additional candle in the center. But we chose to keep this one fairly small and simple. We've had one since our first Christmas together and all the years that we were raising our children. I grew up a Unitarian, not in a mainline Christian church, but we did celebrate Christmas, both in the church and at home. And both places were filled with music, the beauty of lights and candles and incense, and a sense of the sacredness of the mystery of life and spirit. This included my mom lighting Advent candles also. So beauty and mystery, especially waiting for Christmas, are ingrained deeply in me. Although as a child, lighting each of the 4 Advent candles, one a week leading up to Christmas, also meant that I was 1 week closer to maybe getting a really cool gift and delicious food. It wasn't until older that I became interested in the real person of Jesus and the teachings and true meaning of Christianity. For me, the Advent wreath is both beauty and anticipation, since I will always be searching, questioning, and growing in spirit. We light one purple candle on each of the 3 Sundays before Christmas, and the pink one on the last Sunday before Christmas Day. If there's a candle in the middle of the wreath, that candle is lit on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. So I lit the first purple candle 2 Sundays ago, the next one last Sunday, and I'll light the third one now. The first candle is the shortest because I lit it first, and the second one on the following Sunday. So by the time I light the pink candle, all of them are at different lengths, a visual reminder of each week in Advent. The purple color represents hope, peace, and love, and the pink color represents joy. And these thoughts and feelings honor the anticipation of the birth of Jesus, a really special person.
Wikipedia gives us a context for understanding Advent in the Christian calendar. Quote, "The season of Advent anticipates the coming of Christ from both the physical nativity in Bethlehem and the reception of Christ in the heart of the believer." When I was 11, my mother whispered something that deepened my enjoyment of the Christmas Eve service in the suburban Presbyterian church that I grew up in. My mom, who was not generally one to speak reflectively about such things, whispered to me as the service was just beginning that she loved this particular service because if you pay attention to the kids, you would always see Christmas magic in their faces. The sanctuary was evocatively dark, beautifully decorated, and the lights were dim enough and the candles bright enough that magic was visible everywhere I looked. Children were always featured in the service. 2 different children's choirs and children of all ages were called up to light candles and read Christmas passages from the Bible. So there were lots of children's faces to observe closely. Sure enough, I saw it then through her eyes as I've seen it ever since. Before that, I had only noticed their barely contained excitement about the coming joy of Christmas, the thrill of opening presents and playing with brand new toys. But slowly, it dawned on me that there was more. Those cherubic faces were glowing, suffused with the silent savoring of the Spirit and all that Spirit entails. And the magic was in that silent savoring, the barely patient waiting, the peace and joy that would not only bloom the next morning, but was already infusing the sanctuary that night. This, I realized, was the spiritual side of Advent. All this and more from my mom's quiet, excited whisper of anticipation. I now understand, all these years later, that my mom's excitement was itself an essential part of Advent, and that the anticipation, the waiting, the wonder, the joy, all of that and more is the Christmas gift of Advent, a ritual which is always ready to deliver overflowing Spirit. And although as I grew older, I left that church and have for years found my church home here, I still carry the joy of anticipation and wonder that I first glimpsed so very long ago.
We invite you to now rise in body or spirit as we sing together the beautiful Christmas carol, O Little Town of Bethlehem. It's number 246 in the gray hymnal, and the lyrics will also be on the screen. And support to what is closest to our hearts. Another way we show our care for one another is in sharing our financial gifts with our community and our congregation. Our social action collection for the month of December is for FAR, the Public Housing Association of Residents. FAR is a wonderful organization that this congregation has been working with and supporting for many, many years, and I hope that you will give generously to them today. Now, in addition to giving online, if you would like to give today with cash or check, please use the Social Action Collection envelopes here in the sanctuary and place your offering in the collection plate. If you want to write a check, make your check out to the UU Congregation of Charlottesville and write Social Action Collection or FAR in the memo line. Now, along with our Social Action Collection, we invite everyone to financially support the ministries and mission of this congregation. Through your pledges and the weekly Sunday morning offering, together our financial gifts support UUCville and enable us to put love into action. This indeed is our shared ministry. Again, during the music that follows, you can offer your financial support by using the text address or going to our website. You may place cash or checks in the collection plates as they are passed. So let us now dedicate all of the many gifts we share with one another by saying, "We accept your gifts with gratitude. May we use them wisely for the highest good."
I'm going to invite all the young people and young at heart to come forward again and join us up here on our red carpet this morning. And if you didn't join us before and you're just feeling like you want to move around a little bit, now's your moment. Come on forward. So I've been thinking a lot this month about what it means to celebrate this season, what it means to celebrate this season as Unitarian Universalists. And Reverend Tim and I have been talking about it, and that was part of why we wanted to invite Ellie to share her traditions and the way she celebrates, and why we wanted to invite John and Diane to share what's important to their family and how you celebrate. But what Reverend Tim and I really want to ask everybody to do is to think about this. What is it that you, as a Unitarian Universalist, are celebrating this season, and why? What is important to you about this holiday season, and how do you honor that or acknowledge that? What are the ways that you engage with the season that have meaning for you? So in my own thinking about it, I was raised Unitarian Universalist. I was dedicated in the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Greenville, North Carolina, and then I was raised in the Unitarian Universalist congregation in Lubbock, Texas. And I have wonderful memories of going to church and being in that community and being at church on Christmas Eve, and just what the mystery and magic of Christmas Eve service was like. And I always loved going out to the front steps of the church and looking and searching the skies for Santa's sleigh after the service on Christmas Eve. And I would do that with my brother and my sister and other children from the church. And it was just always so fun to look and see if we could see. So that's one of the things we do here, in addition to our 4:30 service and our 7 p.m. service. But when I think about the holidays now and this season, one of the things I love the most is the Christmas tree that we have in our home. And this year, I wanted to set it up as early as was possible for us. And oftentimes what I do is I just go sit with it. I sit with the lights and the ornaments and all the memories that the ornaments have for me. And I drink my morning coffee with my Christmas tree. And what that's about for me is being quiet in the room with the beauty, thinking about the memories that those ornaments bring up for me, and what it was like to sleep on the couch at my house growing up, because I wanted to wait and see what magic was going to happen, so I'd camp out on the couch on Christmas Eve just to see what I could see. But mostly I think it's about spending time with people that I love and bringing more love into the world. That's what this season means for me. So Nash, would you put our values flower up so we can all see it together? So here is our Unitarian Universalist values flower, the guideposts for us that help us live our UU faith in our lives every day. So when I think about this season and what values I want to live into, I think about interdependence and the people that I'm connected to in this congregation, in my family, and how can I honor that? How can I let them know that I care about them, that they matter to me? How can I honor the interconnectedness with all of life? So that's an important value for me, especially in this season. And I think about transformation, being in a place where I can have my heart open to how I might change, what might be possible, what might be moved in me as I go about my daily life. And I think about generosity, because it is a season of giving and showing people that they matter to me, that communities matter to me, that I can be generous and be open to giving what I can give and receiving what I can receive. But most of all, it's love at the center. And that is what this season means to me as a Unitarian Universalist, a reminder of how can I put love into the center of all that I do. It's also a way for me to welcome winter. I think I've shared with you that I'm not so keen about the dark and the cold, but when I think about being mindful of saying, okay, these lights, this celebration, it's going to help me acknowledge that winter is here. And how can I embrace winter and be with the dark and the cold and the gifts that it offers? So while I really have a connection to solstice, which we'll talk about next Sunday, I celebrate with my family on Christmas Day. And part of that is just the culture that we're in. But I want to be thinking about why that is. And I want to encourage you to think about what you celebrate and why as well. And Reverend Tim, I'm really curious about you.
Yes.
And what do you and your family celebrate this time of year?
Well, we certainly, of course, celebrate Christmas. And I think that for us, Christmas is first and foremost about family and being together. And it's certainly about putting love in the center. But for us also, Christmas is about remembering and celebrating certain traditions that we have done for many, many years. And I was wondering if it's okay with you guys, I'd like to share one of those traditions with all of you this morning. And that tradition has to do with this story, the night before Christmas. So before my son was born, who's now like, I'm going to mess his age up, 35 or 36. So this book was published like in 1985. I mean, the story goes back farther than that, of course. But it's been in our family since for a long time. And when you open it, and actually I have pictures up on the screen, the first slide that Nash is going to show you that it has my son's name in there, Christopher. And then my daughter Carissa wrote their name in there. They were the younger of the two, and you can see that they wrote their name. I'm guessing they were maybe 3 or 4 when they wrote. I don't know if you can see it or not, but anyway. So, with your permission, would you mind if I read this story to you? Because this is what we would do on Christmas Eve. We would sit by our tree, and yes, I would sit on the floor, and I would read this story to my kids and to my wife. So, do you guys want to come a little closer? Yeah. I was younger, so Niels is wondering, how did they get you up? So, all right. So, The Night Before Christmas by Clement C. Moore. 'Twas the night before Christmas when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mama in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled our brains for a long winter's nap, when out on the lawn there arose such a clatter. I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave a luster of midday to objects below, when what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer. With a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be Saint Nick. More rapid than eagles, his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donder and Blitzen, to the top of the porch, to the top of the wall. Now dash away, dash away, dash away all. As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle, mount to the sky. So up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with a sleigh full of toys, and Saint Nicholas too. And then in a twinkling I heard on the roof that prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around down the chimney, Saint Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard on his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly, and it shook when he laughed, ho, 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 like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk, and laying a finger aside of his nose and giving a nod up the chimney, he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim ere he drove out of sight, "Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night." So we just love that story. And I have to say that the most exciting thing I'm looking forward to, hopefully this Christmas, will be being able to read this and share this with my granddaughter, Jane. So thank you all so much for listening to my favorite Christmas story.
And whatever your holiday traditions are, we hope that you will get to enjoy them in abundance. Whether it's hanging stockings, lighting candles, being with family, opening presents, sitting in quiet wonder, eating latkes, whatever it is, may you experience it in abundance. And just like Santa and abundance, we are going to bless the Giving Tree gifts that you all have helped provide this year for families at Greer Elementary and Mountain View Elementary. If you forgot to bring your gift with you this morning, you can still drop your gift cards off at church on Tuesday. And if you could bring them in by 3 p.m., we'll make sure that they are delivered to the schools so that they are given to the families who need them in time for the holiday season. Your kindness also eases the burdens and brings joy to families in our own congregation whose resources are tight. So we thank you so much for your generosity. Let us now bless these gifts together by speaking our blessing, which will be projected. We give thanks for being part of this community of care. Let us continue to work together for the common good. May these gifts offered to the larger community be blessed by the love between and around us, and may each of our hearts be filled with overflowing love this season. In peace we pray. Amen. Please rise now in body or spirit for our closing hymn, number 226 in the gray hymnal, also projected, People Look East.
Reverend Leo, would you please extinguish our chalice? A reminder to please join us in the social hall after the service for coffee and delicious food and wonderful holiday gift items. Those of you who are new, I look forward to seeing you at the newcomer circle in the parlor at about 12:15. And I offer our closing words from Maddie Sifantus, who I actually went to seminary with. What do you know? We extinguish this flame, but we keep its light in our hearts with its message of love and justice, taking it outside these walls to the world we live in until we are together again. Blessed be and go in peace.